Hi, welcome. My name is Brian Stack, and today I want to be telling you how to play poker or set up your very own poker night. Specifically, we're going to talk about Texas Hold'em poker, and gained popularity over the last couple years because of ESPN and the World Series of Poker. Very entertaining, my favorite style of poker. I try to get with my buddies about once a month to play some games. Um, but Texas Hold'em style poker is you're going to have cold cards in your hand, and then there are going to be cards on the table, and based on those cards, you're going to make the best possible hand and hopefully win. So first off, we're going to talk about the table. Now, the table here that I have is an oval shaped, and it seats 10. It's a freestanding table, but they do have tabletops that come in octagonal shapes or freestanding octagonal ones. They seat 8 usually, but sometimes you can even find them in green, blue, or even red felt. Mine's green felt. The next thing you're going to want to do is get some chips. Chips are very important when it comes to playing poker because if you don't have a chip in a chair, you can't play. So I have chips. They're clay chips, and I have 5 different colors. I got black, green, blue, red, and white. I gave them values of 2,000, 1,000, 500, 200, and 100. And I usually start off all my games with 10,000 in chips. It's a nice round number and easy to play around with. So after that, you're going to want to make sure that everybody kind of knows the whole gist of what beats what and things like that. I made a little cheat sheet here so that you all can see. Basically, each hand, um, you'll start off with a high card, which is pretty simple. Just the highest card would win the hand if that was the best hand that's out there, so an ace, or even just a pair. So if someone had a pair of whatever, twos, threes, fours, whatever, that could do it. Then you'll move into two pairs, and that is a pair of one card and a pair of another card. You don't need to fill out all 5 of your cards. All you need is just 2 different pairs. Then you move into three of a kind, which is 3 of the same card, and then a straight, which is 5 cards in sequential order. Doesn't matter what suit. Next would be a flush. That is just 5 cards in the same suit. Doesn't matter if they're in order or not. This one happens to be a queen high flush right there, because that's the highest card in the hand. Then you move into a full house, which is a 3 of a kind and a 2 of a kind, or just a pair. 3 of a kind and a pair. That makes a full house. Then you go into 4 of a kind, is all 4 of the same card. Then you move into a straight flush, which this is a 6 through 10 in clubs of a straight flush. Then the royal flush, which is the big bad voodoo daddy of them all, 10 through ace in the same suit. So we'll leave this up here. I'm going to go over a quick hand on how the whole style of gameplay is really done. So if you can't see the cards, it really doesn't make any difference. I'm just going to kind of get you the gist of how each hand is played. So I got a deck of cards. Now cards come different ways as well. I have plastic cards here. Yes, rather than paper cards. Plastic cards are really, really nice because they don't bend so much. Well, they bend a little bit more. That's what I'm trying to say, is that they bend a little bit more, so you can kind of hold them and kind of keep them hidden from, your neighbors and things like that. So what you'll do first is you'll end up dealing out a card to each player. And I'm going to use 4 players here just for an example, because you kind of get a gist of having a full table. I usually play my games with about 8 players, sometimes even more. I've even had some games that I've had so big where I had to actually have 2 tables going at the same time, and then we combine tables to get them a little bit smaller. So after you deal your cards out like this, what we'll do a round of bets. And what that is that if you feel like you want to make a bet and make a stab at towards the pot that you're going to make with all your chips, this is the time that you're going to want to do it. This is the first opportunity. Now, if you're not too sure about your cards, you may not want to bet. It's what we call a check. And a check is perfectly fine. It's perfectly legal, and it's done a lot. So let's just say everybody checks on this, and then we'll be ready to see cards. So after you've dealt and everybody has checked or bet or called or whatever the whole case may be, we're going to ready to see cards. So you're going to take the next card off your deck and discard it. We call that a burn card. It just kind of keeps the game a little fresh so that you're not really necessarily stacking the deck or anything like that to get a particular hand. Then you're going to flip over 3 cards in a row, And that is what we're going to call the flop. Now the flop here is just like the most cards that you'll see at one time. Then after the flop, we'll do another series of bets. So let's say player A here wants to bet on that. Player B, C, and D all have to call that bet. If they do not call the bet, then they fold. If some player says, I like that bet, but I want to bet more, they can do that as well. But then the rest of the players will have to call that amount. So let's say everybody's still in this hand. We're going to discard one more card just to make sure that we're not stacking that deck. And flip it over. This card is called the turn card. So now we'll have a new series of bets again. And again, you can check, you can bet, you can raise that bet. As long as that you have players in the game, you will continue to see more cards. We're going to discard one more card. That's our third and final burn card. And then we'll flip over the last card. And then this last card is called the river. And sometimes the river will make or break your hand. Sometimes you will go fishing for certain cards, and then sometimes that river will come, and people may make fun of that because you may be a river rat, is what they call. It's just a little bit fun there. So on this hand here, just quickly, I know you probably can't see all the cards. It looks like two pairs going to win. This guy had a pair of sixes to begin, and then there are a pair of queens here on the board. So it looks like that's going to win the hand. No flushes, no straights, no nothing like that. Nothing hard to figure out. Just a quick and easy hand there. Well, other than that, I hope this helps you out on how to play a game of poker and have some fun with your friends. And have a good night. Thank you.